What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode. This is News in Progress. I am here with a very special interview. It's one of our first panel style interviews with some of the creators behind the Below the Line Film Festival. You guys know I was out there last year. Oh, I just love, you guys know Dakota's like a fan to us here already. We've been trying our best to create community, create opportunities for filmmakers to not just get their stuff out here for people to see, for them to talk about it, for them to be in community, for them to have conversations that kind of leverage why in which they do everything. So I'm gonna have Dakota kind of kick us off here.
Thank you, Tahira. Okay, as Tahira said, my name's Dakota Martin of Chill Bucket Productions. Our big annual event is the Below the Line Film Festival. We're really, really excited, as Tahira spoke about not only just having a festival, but creating community. Um, Jeff and I, my partner, who he's on the West Coast most of the time. He's just getting back from being abroad, so that's why he's not here this morning. But with we met to here a couple of years ago on a project, and um, we're all in education in some way, and we try to bring that, I think, into everything we do, building our networks, building our community. We still try to keep up with Tahira, and she supports us, we support her. And that's kind of how we feel about our filmmakers over the past 3 years. This is our fourth season, which we're super excited about. Our first season was completely online because of COVID, so it's much more exciting to be in person. And this year we've expanded to 2 evenings. We've got a student night with a lot of high school and college projects. And our kickoff opening night is um, amateurs, professionals, a whole. The cool thing for us is that we're just trying to curate a cool night of films, and it's not so much about um, your status or your budget. But so that's kind of what all of these filmmakers have in common is that the stories and the cinematography and those kinds of things stood out to us.
I actually have a question for you there as a person who attended the one day festival last year. Was that some part of the feedback? Because I know being there, I was there not just for media, just to kind of watch, and I would just loved it how you guys you remember my comments, like how did you put them in order? I felt like the break was perfect. Like, how did you know we needed intermission? Were people saying like, hey, like you should do students and then separate it? Was that something that happened between you and Jeff after the last festival?
We made a special effort this year to reach out to high schools and colleges and local professors, and really, I think that's the way in in which we're going to grow the festival more. Um, and we're able to do a panel this year as well, which is featuring a department chair at Five Towns College on Long Island and a couple of other professionals in the industry in Manhattan.
That's amazing.
Um, so I think getting students behind it is very important to us, and being able to connect with those filmmakers and keep up with those filmmakers and see where they go beyond the fest is really something important to us.
Yeah, that's so. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. So I guess I'll do a little introduction to everybody here. Joining us, we have, uh, please tell me if I pronounce your name wrong or correct me. Kai, who is from My Bones. I wish my bones were unidentifiable.
Identifiable, yeah.
Yeah.
Unidentifiable.
Um, Keaton Morris, who's actually in Method and Madness, and I know also very behind the scenes on that. Trina Baker from an animated film we loved, Ball Lightning. Annetta Marion is the director on Welcome to Theater, and Nick Zweig, the director and animator behind I Am Duck. So all very, very different films, and I can't wait to for you to ask them a lot of cool questions about their projects.
Well, we appreciate you being here and just kind of like spearheading this for us and taking on a kind of a production role as well, just for this interview. So thank you so much. Some of you I think are local to New York, and when we say local to NYC, we include Westchester, Nassau, Suffolk. So I guess you guys can just raise your hand or come off camera, come off mute to share like where you are from and how'd you find out about Chill Bucket and Below the Line.
I'll jump in. Hi. Oh my God, Tahira and Dakota, thank you so much for having us. We're so excited about the festival and everything that you guys are doing, and especially, your focus on community is so near and dear to my heart and Gabby Fox's heart, who's the producer and writer of Welcome to Theater. So anyway, so grateful to be here. Gabby Fox wrote Welcome to Theater and is the producer, and also has a nonprofit called Theater Revolution, which is also about community and voices and things like that. And she knows you and Jeff. She knows Dakota and Jeff, like gesturing Dakota and Jeff from like the Westchester area. So that's how we knew about the festival and your community, and beyond thrilled to be a part of it. So thank you.
We appreciate you so much. Just jump in, don't be shy, but we will cold call. Trina, I think you're up next.
Okay, hi, thank you. And again, Tahira and Dakota, thank you so much for all of this. This is great, and what a great opportunity for my film, and but also for my students that worked on the film. I'm from Massachusetts. I teach at Lesley University in Cambridge, Mass. And I made this film with my student interns, colleagues, and faculty, and recent grads that were in my senior seminar class. So it's really, I feel like it's like a school project, but it is definitely it's a personal story. It's my story. So it was really fun working with all of these students.
Awesome. Welcome. So happy to have you here. Love teachers that are like still acting like students themselves. I'm very much like that.
Hi, my name is Kai Helenius. I'm the writer and director of I Wish My Bones Were Unidentifiable. It's a short drama that follows a young trans man who returns home for the first time in Thanksgiving, for the first time since for Thanksgiving, and since transitioning, and he's forced to confront family and his mom over like a cold Thanksgiving dinner. So it's a very personal drama, and it was a lot of fun to make, and I'm very happy to share it with everyone.
It sounds completely creatively awesome and also culturally necessary right now. So shout out to you, Kai.
Hi, I can jump in. Hi, everyone. I'm Keaton Morris Stan, actor, producer, and writer for Method and Madness. And my co-producer and co-actor, Julia Maggiola, wasn't able to be here today, but she and I have collaborated on many projects in the past. And we actually met through an educational institution at the Barrow Group in New York City. So I feel like the educational theme is running through here. Our short film is about a sister who carries a secret to the grave, and our protagonist who has to choose between revenge and exposing the truth that the world may not be ready for yet. And there's female protagonists, and our sort of goal in putting this film together as producers was to get as many local to sort of New York and Connecticut folks involved. So we have about 50% of our team from New York and 50% of our team from the Connecticut area. We shot up in Norwalk, Connecticut. And 75% of our team is women and non-binary folks, and that was another huge importance for us in putting that. Thank you. Yeah, putting that team together. And we actually found out about Below the Line Festival in sort of a strange roundabout way. So we've done some research about like the local film festivals in the area, and then also so sort of through Film Freeway, which I think everybody who's a filmmaker is pretty familiar with, but it's basically, for those who aren't, a portal that allows you to apply to film festivals and competitions, et cetera, et cetera. So through Film Freeway, they had this like promotional option, and through that you can pay a certain amount of money, and it will like put your film on a list. And so we connected to the Below the Line through that. And we're so glad that we did because I think so many of our visions align, Dakota and Jeff, who isn't here. But so we're so glad to be a part of this, and community and collaboration is such a huge part of our ethos as filmmakers as well. And so I feel like we aligned really well in that. So super grateful to be here and so excited to see all of your films as well. I'm super thrilled to be part of the group. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I love how you accidentally just ended up here.
I know
And you
it's
love
a
it.
funny thing.
It is. That's all of us right now, though.
I think it's true though, the longer I'm alive on this earth and the longer I remain in this industry, I think like the smaller the community becomes, right? You meet more and more people and you connect with the ones that jive, right? Like the ones that like have similar ethos and points of view, and the
Absolutely.
kind
I
people
think it's
stand
your
out.
community is getting bigger,
Oh, that's a great way of looking
I
at it.
think. Just got to say that. Not smaller, bigger.
No, I agree. I
Interesting.
used to live in Hollywood and it's that, right? Like when I moved in Me Too. And like maybe before people like me didn't fit in, but at that time it's like, we need your story. Actually, you're coming to the front. And a lot of people are like, how'd you get? And I'm like, because it's getting wider. People who never used to be accepted, trans stories, things that we're talking about. But now that is what people want to hear. So I think we're all actually in the exact space that we were supposed to be on the time in our lives. So we got one more intro.
Hi, I'm Nick Zweig. I'm the director of the animated short I Am Duck. And as it so happens, I was going to be hanging out with my friend and the star, Mariana Hersko, who is a fantastic artist and filmmaker in their own right, but she also voices Duck, the main character in my film. I am zoning out a lot right now because I didn't sleep well last night. So one second.
You're totally fine.
I am local in New York. I moved here in like 2019. I found out about Chill Bucket. I wish I had like I was it's like I just saw it on Film Freeway and submitted. I'm not gonna pretend I didn't. And yeah, I Am Duck was really kind of about just like the frustration you can kind of feel trying to get something to do, like you have something you want to do, you have something you want to be, and the frustration you kind of feel when you are just so dead set on something and you ignore everything and any advice that anybody might give you, and it ends in, maybe not the best way, but that's what the film is about.
Banging your head against the wall kind of story.
Yeah.
We need
Or
to,
the ground if you
or the ground, or whatever. I just said the wall. Like, I don't know. I didn't watch it yet, but like, we totally get where you're trying to go with it. Awesome. I love all of you guys for sharing out. And I think you guys all kind of spoke to, I believe, how you found Chill Bucket at this point. So we can kind of just get into the panel kind of conversations now. I want to ask, how expensive was your projects respectively? So we could popcorn around just for that one. And then how has film financing helped or hurt your projects previously before you've ran into Chill Bucket and Below the Line, or maybe another project that you weren't able to jump on a podcast for or something? Kind of speak to the financial kind of part of it, because that's why we're here. It's a film festival.
I can go first if I Am Duck was funded by an animation studio uh, called Cartoona that's based in Brooklyn. Uh, I think at the time I had worked there on a project, and then I just kind of asked because I knew they were funding shorts and some series. So I pitched them like three ideas, and they picked this one, which was honestly the least formed one. Uh, and it went from like they gave me $2,400 for a 12-minute animated short. Granted, it wasn't initially going to be a
Got it.
12-minute animated short.
Pretty good.
And then I ended up having to pay a friend of mine to make backgrounds for me. So I think I profited about $12 from that. It was still like they took care of, they gave me Adobe, they found like a sound designer for
You
me.
got access to stuff that normally would be a higher because that's
Oh yeah.
part of it too. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is since I Am Duck, I've made three films. I'm currently on my fourth film that I'm going to be working on today, and I don't have not had funding for any of those, and it feels honestly a little bit easier. uh, but
I would just like to ask you, how come it feels easier? One would think like if you had a budget, it makes it easier. You're saying without a budget it makes it easier, but tell me why, because I think I kind of
with
know what you mean.
with a budget, especially for animation, I can't really speak to live action because like with live action, you need you need to find like shooting locations, you need a camera, you need somebody to do this, you need somebody to hold a boom mic, you need somebody to bring snacks, you need somebody to drive a car. Like with animation, it was pretty much like
Mm.
any project I've worked on, I was just like, hey Mariana, do you want to like voice the
Just
main
I hear you. The
character?
production, like what you need, the pre-production maybe is less of a heaviness, maybe.
I'd say the pre-production's pretty well. It's animation is 90% pre-production, honestly. But like, it's just like with when you people hear you have a budget, it's like, oh, they expect they're gonna be like, I had like some money. It's like I barely have enough money to make this profitable for me, or
That's
at least like
fair.
break even for me.
Yeah.
Like in my subsequent films, I've been like, just with my friends, like, do you want to work on this? And it's like they usually just say yes because people generally, especially animators, like they want to help out, they want to jump in on like a project. But when there's a budget attached, it becomes a bit more like, well, can I get a little something? Which like is understandable, but uh, since then, I've tried finding film funding, and it's just like hard to find, I
That's
guess.
why it's a question. Anybody else that can jump in and kind of speak to maybe what
Yeah.
Nick's speaking to?
Oh, Keaton, why don't you go first?
Okay. Um, I'll be quick this time, I promise. I think it's so funny to hear, Nick, that you find it easier to work on projects without a budget because I'm quite the opposite. I think I'm at a place in my career where my friends are no longer doing favors. I'm at that place where we all just want to get like paid what we're worth, which is great, 100%. We should all get paid what we're worth, right? Or at least like a token. For Method and Madness, we did a crowdfunding, um, and that was honestly, I'm gonna be super honest with you guys. It was a nightmare. Crowdfunding is so difficult. It's its own job, right? Like
It's
it's
hard. Yeah, it's a lot of promotion.
absolutely. I mean, that's why companies have their own fundraising teams. That's why you have a development team, et cetera, et cetera. It's somebody's job. So as a filmmaker, producer, actor, writer, as many hats as we all sort of wear, fundraising is just another hat, and it's so difficult. But for this particular project, we did a crowd fundraiser through. I think it was Seed and Spark, and there are several. There's Seed and Spark, Indiegogo. There's various fundraising um, sites that you can go through. But we got so lucky that our friends and families and extended communities chipped in anywhere between $10 to $1,000, and so we were able to.
Congratulations on your successful crowdfunding.
Well, we didn't get all the way there with the
You
crowdfunding. We paid a little out of pocket,
you
but
got it. You started. You started.
it was, yes, exactly. It was the seed and spark, if you will.
So I'll jump in, and also I'm going to circle back to a question that I didn't answer the last time. So Ball Lightning is an animation. It's about the story of a refugee from post-World War II East Germany who immigrated to the United States. And all of her story is told through oil paintings on panels that I did in my studio. Um, so again, when we talk about how much a film costs or uh, uh, the budget for it, it's a little bit obsequious, I think, when you're talking about animation, because the project itself took 5 years. And I did it with students and I did it as part of their internship. So it was really a learning experience. So it's really hard to put a price on that. I spent a ton of time just teaching uh, naming conventions, right? So those are things that sort of get rolled into it. But I do want to take a shout out to a couple of grants that I was given across the time. And the grants, of course, they propel you forward and they help with the project, but also it's a nod that you're like going in the right direction and that it validates what you're doing. So I was able to receive a grant from the ASIFA Hollywood Animation Educators Forum, from the Cambridge Cultural Council, and from my college from the Lesley University Faculty Development Fund. So, and again, over those years, it really helps like just give you that little chunk of, yes, you're doing the right thing, keep pushing forward. So
Your grants kind of came from your previous networks. It's like what it sounds like. Like the lives that you've lived before have now like, oh, okay, we see what you're doing now. That's me too. Like I've had people in my past, my college professors, or I see you needed this for your play or whatever, and he's like just sent me a like a cash app, and I'm like, oh, okay, like thanks. Like, but he got named as a producer as well, so now he's trying to just produce more stuff now. He lives on Long Island. I don't know, but I love that too. Again, college, right? It was like I wasn't doing that in college. I was doing criminal justice and I was Black Lives Matter and my documentaries are about, but like my professors who were there when they see me, they just know me now and it's like that's really interesting. I didn't ask for anything, but I also kind of got a grant. So that's really cool. I love that.
yeah, I also want to put another shout out to my sound designer, who is a colleague of mine, who the film would, of course, animation without sound is just moving pictures. So he's really the one who brought the magic. So Robert Gifford is his name. So thank you.
Very cool. Let's keep it going.
Hi, so this film was all funded by myself. I feel like with crowdfunding, you get one big one. And then if you do it again, your family's gonna be like, all right, where'd the money go for the first one? So I've kind of been saving it in my back pocket. And this film was my thesis film for Stony Brook University, which I didn't mention before. And there was no funding from the school or anything like that. And the equipment they have is pretty horrible. So I did everything out of pocket. But I am a big believer in that you can make a really tight budget if you're if you're willing to DIY a lot of stuff. So I only spent 2,400 on this film for everything, and then an additional like 1,000 for like festival submissions and stuff like that. And so most of that budget went towards the actors' wages, and then like a few other crew members' wages, and the rest of the crew members were all students from Stony Brook University. So they were happy to
We
work.
appreciate that as the actor community.
Yeah, and so I did have actually one like great actress in the film, and she nickel and dimed me a little bit. So about a quarter of the budget is just her, which is funny, but she's really good. But no, so it was all funded by myself, and we shot on location in like the cinematographer's house, and like a lot of the other locations we just shot, with a faked permit that I made, and then if anyone came up to us, I'd show them the fake permit, and
Oh,
so
I love these stories. Keep going.
we were
How
able to
do you do
shoot
it like this? Oh,
on
it's
a
a permit. No, it's not a real permit, but keep going.
on a super tight budget, and all the equipment is my own. I used a really old, pretty bad Panasonic S5 camera, and then if you attach a special monitor to that called a Ninja 5, you turn like a 4K like you know early 4K like 8-bit camera into a 6K 12-bit camera. Like it unlocks the full sensor capability because They release these cameras in a way where that each if they release a line of like three cameras, each one is the same sensor, but they lock the quality to paying for the higher versions.
Oh, look at
So
this. This is a
you
hack,
can
you guys.
yeah, so you can hack around that by using external monitors and unlock the sensor quality of the $8,000 camera instead of the $1,000 camera. So I did that, and I did a few other things to like cut costs and save money, and we managed to make it for really cheap. And then to make back all my money, I held a screening a few months ago. I rented out a local theater, and we sold out every seat, so 235 seats. I did like guerrilla marketing in the area, and so we were able to make back everything, which was good and felt really good.
Oh, I love that story
I
for you.
sold merchandise, stuff like that. And so a lot of it was like self-produced. I mean, we all talk about wearing many hats, like that's the situation. I edit, I color grade, audio mix, I do everything. So like it makes it really easy because I don't have to pay myself. And you can make a film for fun and a film
And it
for
worked
free.
for Spike Lee, so I mean, maybe he might get an Oscar. Who knows? You never know.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, so it was that's how I made like a really tight budget. And I know it sounds crazy, like, oh, it's a 16-minute film and you only made it for 2,400. But when you see it, I think for anyone who's watched it here, which I think maybe Dakota has, I don't think it feels that way at all. I think I'm very like detailed, so it manages to look. It's the production value of like a full feature almost, where you just fall into the world, and that is a credit to all my friends and family who are ridiculously talented and are willing to work on this for free, just because I know them and went to college with them.
No, yeah. And they believe in you too. Like, that's what we've been saying. It's community. They are your community.
Mhm.
You need them to do it. I mean, I'm a big Beyonce fan. I don't know if you guys ever heard about her, but she consistently talks about that. You don't see
Yeah.
her team changing up, right? Like, literally, she
Mhm.
got that applause with the same girls from Destiny Child. I'm like, this is really still happening. Like, but it's like, that is how I also believe in, like, when you find the right people. That's something that I know in Hollywood, and what got me there was like,
Mhm.
the movies that I loved, right? The Hangover movies. It's the same crew of people making them. The
Yeah.
Seth Rogens and all of them, right? It's like they found themselves, they took themselves from Canada to Hollywood, and they just kept trying to like, and then one thing blew up, and then so it's like it is that though. That without that, I think you're just kind of like a weird lone wolf out here. And it's not as much as
So
like actors live their own life. We don't. We live a life and we're going one production to another. Like,
yeah.
but community is how we get from one production to another. So thank you so
To
much for
really
sharing.
quickly speak on that, like two years ago, 2.5 years ago, when I was in college with all these people, because I just graduated like 3 months ago. But when I was going to school with everyone, I was like, there's about 5 to 6 people. I'm like, these guys are really talented, and so I'm like, I need to get my hands on them and get my clutches on them quickly. And so I founded a production company and signed everyone on as co-owners and stuff like that. And so we've all been making films together for the past 3 years. And so we've become a really like crack team where, I'd say that they worked on this for free, but like I've worked on all their films and all that stuff. And the films that we screened wasn't just mine. We screened another movie that I co-wrote and co-directed, and a music video that we made for an artist in the Bronx. And so like it's a lot of different things where it's all the same people, and so we're all kind of coming up at the same time and like getting more gigs and cashing more checks all together, which has been really, really helpful.
Exactly. Then we got one more. Then we can move on to our other questions.
I
One more
just
about the
I'm
money.
gonna respond to Kai. I never heard of this like hacking the sensor thing, and I've got to look into that. So thank you for a crazy idea, which yeah, anyway, sounds amazing. So Welcome to Theater was a live action, we had multiple locations, um, you know, camera team, like a, crew, a regular crew. And basically everyone, basically everyone there was either working for free or for like the most modest stipend. It was a community effort. And Gabby and her co-producer Nora really have they've made so much. They put so much effort and really crafted a community around Theater Revolution, which is their nonprofit, Gabby's nonprofit. Um, And that nonprofit, and basically the mission of that nonprofit is to marry community and art. So, which is, just my heart and all of that. But Welcome to Theater it's a dramedy about two old white theater guys dealing with and how they're dealing with a progressing world.
Mm.
So anyway, in terms of the funding, Gabby does a lot of fundraising for Theater Revolution, her nonprofit, and just so grateful to all the donors who, just really support the mission of that nonprofit and the production of Welcome to Theater. So that's our story. But Kai, I can't wait to talk to my cinematographer friends
Right?
about
Love that. I love that you
your
took the
path.
gem already and you're like, forget
Yes.
this interview. I want to talk to Kai. That's the
Yes.
point of these interviews. I
Yes.
love that. Thank you. And I'm loving the theater revolution part. Like you keep saying revolution. I'm like, I love that word. That's me. I'm
Yes.
kind of, so maybe tell us a little bit more if you can. I know you're not maybe the founder, but you could tell us more of like where they launched, like how that came about. I think that's really interesting. I love the word revolution in theater.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that I'm not even sure how long Theater Revolution's been around, but it's been around a while. But it's Gabby's firm, commitment that art can change life,
Yes.
you know, and that's incredibly important always, and possibly
More
more
important.
important today than
Say
anything
it.
we've ever
Yes.
seen. So like when I met Gabby at the Yonkers Film Festival, there was a meet and greet sort of thing, and uh, Patty Schumann and her husband Dave, her dear, dear, dear friends of mine who started the Yonkers Film Festival, they were also community oriented, and that's where I met Gabby. And just so we immediately clicked on the mission of art changing life, and we all have to do it, however we do it.
I
So
love that. That's
yeah.
beautifully said. Art changing life. Um, we're gonna move on to because we all talked a lot and we want the audience to also digest everything we're saying. So we're gonna keep it light and keep it moving. Chill Bucket is pushing the boundaries of who gets to be credited by highlighting like below the line. Obviously, below the line is people who sometimes don't even make it, right? Like on Hollywood, like the high level, the people that work sometimes don't even make it to the credit sheet. People don't know that though. It's like not just in the credits we see and even credits we don't watch. It's like movie's over, I'm leaving. It's like people, so this is why the names that we're hearing here, I'm making sure you guys put your names out there because your name and your credits, and it is a part of our industry, a big part of it. The sound people are like equally creative and not just the screenwriters. Like, what's the biggest production you guys have worked on outside of this one that's going into the festival? You could be work as a talent or anything else where you've been that person, you've been below the line, you've been an actor that was just like, I have been, but you guys talk.
I got the opportunity to work on a pretty like large budget short film a few months ago. I was just a PA.
That.
But the budget was definitely in like high five, if not six figures. And so I don't know when it's gonna be hitting festivals, but the experience of being on that set was like totally changed my mind or opened my mind to what is possible and like what is possible with lighting, especially, and like how much work G&E put in and how big that team was. And so I was very impressed with like the whole experience of being on set with like 40 some odd people and like just being that one small cog in a big moving part. So that was a lot of fun, and it also made me realize like, oh, I could probably like DIY this a little cheaper and like do this a little cheaper.
Figuring
But
out
it's
ways to make
cool.
it for the low. No, I love that though.
Yeah, exactly. But it's cool to see how people what they can accomplish with the blank check and what they can do with that.
Right.
I I had the pleasure of being an animator in one of a larger live action film. I did some VFX work for that, which was really fun. But also, I worked for another film company, and I supplied the staging art with my oil paintings. And so it really, those little things that put you as part of their community uh, really gives you, like you said, it makes your world larger, right? Like it expands it. Um, and then, yes, all of this is about making community with artists. So thanks.
Yes. Nick, you were gonna jump in there.
Yeah, I think the largest production I've been on was I was a senior animator on the Richard Linklater film Apollo 10 and a half, which is like a rotoscoped film. Uh,
Hmm.
that was very, very fun in that, mostly in that it kind of like I worked in TV a lot before that, and it kind of opened my eyes to like, oh, this doesn't like these productions don't need to be this hellish.
Super massive and like a camera that you don't even understand where the on
Like,
off switch is.
yeah, granted it was like a movie and the budgets and the timelines are a lot different, but it was just like the producers were like a lot more understanding of things. Like it's like they're not breathing down your neck constantly. Meanwhile, in like a lot of it, like shows I'd worked on in New York, I was like, why are you constant? You're emailing me 3 times today about this one shot that I told you is extremely difficult, and I'm trying to get it done the right way. And it's like, meanwhile, it's like, hey, I think I need another hour for this shot. They're like, take a day on Apollo 10 and a half. That project was amazing. I love that production company, Minnow Mountain. They're based down in Austin. I love everybody that works down there.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's dope.
As an actor, I had the opportunity to work on this indie horror feature that I got cast in, and it's actually sort of a funny story because I'm so used to working on like these sort of smaller indie projects, and like with horror, especially as an actor, like you show up and you don't really know what's gonna happen, like if there's gonna be special effects makeup, but like if they're gonna be prosthetics, like if there's going to be a fort fight choreo or not, right? Like, so you sort of show up and you don't really know what's. So in the scene, my character gets their head like bashed up against a window, and so I was feeling pretty nervous about it, and I sort of approached the director on set and was like, "Hey, like, is there a moment like to talk to somebody about like how this is going to go down? Like, can I meet my scene partner? You know?" And they had a fight choreographer, and because it was a big feature film, and so the fight choreo comes over and talks to me, and he's like, don't worry, like your scene partner is a pro, like no big deal, like he's done this 1,000 times. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, sure. And we get to the scene, and I'm like invited on set, and I show up, and it turns out that I'm playing opposite Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who's been in a few films. So so he like was very kind and talked me through the face bashing moment, and it turned out I was in good hands, but you just sort of never know. But
That's
that
a
was
cool story. I love that story for you.
it was such a wild makes for a good story
It
anyway.
does. Keep telling it. We love that. So, Code, I know you got one inside you too.
No, this is my life. No, the only thing I can speak to, I'm, I'm a huge proponent of whatever project you're working on is like everything is treated the same way, right? I know we all feel like that. Like it is such a for so long for all of us, it's been such a passion project, and for so many years you're not getting paid or you're told, aren't you just doing it because you love it? And yes, part of it is that. Um, so I think it's wonderful actually to hear so many of you guys talking though about um, kind of the whole reason we named this festival was during COVID, when we were locked down and when we were doing stage readings and live theater and cabarets. And once we got shut down, we were doing editing and filming and so much more digital media. And it showed us that like you never really know what your path is going for. And this all came out of a necessity of wanting to create, wanting to keep community and build community and not let that end. So calling it below the line was because we were developing ourselves so many new skills that we didn't think we would ever do. I was very, very much classical theater and musical theater, and so much of my life is about live and hating recorded music, and like not loving that, right? Because there's something special about it just happening once.
Yep.
But you're never, this is what I tell, what we talk about all the time is that you're never too old to be learning and changing who you are and how you are. So to hear you guys just so naturally talking about your sound designers and all of the people behind the scenes who really, really were integral to making this happen, that's like, and you weren't prompted to say that. That's kind of just our whole MO is that like, yeah, this would suck without that, right? And even when we go to see live theater, some of the stuff that I comment on the most is like, oh, that lighting cue in scene 8, that was the best part for me. And it's like Patty LaPone is on stage, and I was like, yeah, all right, sure. But that transition was really
I was
nice,
about to say that was me. Like,
right? It's
love
just
that transition. That was perfect, like blackout. That's what
because
I'm gonna say.
when it's wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't matter who's there, right? If the sound is too loud the whole time, I'm over it. So, Patty can go home. But yeah, I love hearing you guys talk about your behind the scenes stuff because that is what it is. Like the finished product is so little of the timeline of what actually is going on. So this is great for us. I love hearing it.
Yep. And that's like that last sentence you just said was my life in Hollywood. I'm like, if you don't find friends that do this, going to these film festivals, like these red car, it's not that. Like it's very, and then now you're inside, you have no one to talk to. Now the camera, like it's not, and me, I do okay, do well because of my personality. I'm a New Yorker. I never stopped being the girl from Brooklyn, no matter where I went. And I have Spike Lee and some people that come from my town, so yeah, it helps me. But still, I always looked up to like Whoopi Goldberg because I was small. Like she's never changed being Whoopi. Last week, she started talking about Trump. It's like she's still Whoopi. Like, so that's be who you are, but continue to grow and build community. And that's where our entire conversation has gone. And this is where we're landing here. You guys are like definitely a special group. I'm gonna call you emerging filmmakers, not even student. I'm changing my question. And you're in the belly of like exploration and innovation. A lot of these titles are just alone causing us to be like, wait, what is that movie about? Huh? I've never saw this in a sleigh. I'm going to the movies. I never saw these titles things before. It's important for me. Have you guys taken like classes? Why is class like a good way to bridge community? How do we get other people who are young to think that they could be like me and Dakota, for an example, or Kai? You know what I mean? Like, what is some other pathways for networking collaboration? Like, how do we now leave this interview and make what we've done here, our conversation, a part of our community?
Well, I can go. I mean, I've taken every class that I can think of. I've taken, main media classes, DGA classes. I'm a member of the Directors Guild. I mean, classes are not only about what you're learning, but it's also about meeting people. Again, back to community. And I think that's super important. And one thing that I really wish I would have known at the beginning of my career is um, really how important community is, and find that as soon as possible, build that as soon as possible, like always do that stuff. And like in terms of like the below the line is so near and dear to my heart. I mean, I didn't go to film school. I went to engineering school and quit my job and started over in this whole nonsense.
Loved
Uh,
all of that.
all of the world, my world. But I worked my way up. I mean, I started as a PA and I've done every single job. PA, except for production coordinator. I never worked as a production coordinator, but PA, production manager, line producer, script supervisor. I've shot, I've recorded sound, and now I work, supervising producer, showrunner, and director and producer now, which is what I do. But the below the line is so important. And Dakota, just to piggyback on what you said, everyone is important. It takes everyone. Like PAs are the lifeblood. I love being on set. Set is my happy place. And like PAs are the lifeblood. It's the entry level position, but is the lifeblood of any production,
Yeah.
no matter how big and how small. And I've been on, super tiny jobs all the way up to, big commercials and, over 100 of people, and a set can look chaotic and crazy, and no one knows what's going on, but like when you're on set enough, to me it's a symphony. Like it's when G&E is busy turning around, you know, maybe hair and makeup isn't. Like it's a symphony and everyone has their place. And I mean, I love it so much. But I
That was
think
beautiful.
yeah, the most recent big project that I was on, I produced a movie called Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. It's on Apple Plus. And we had, small nonfiction days, small crews, but then we also had scripted. It was a hybrid, scripted and nonfiction. And our scripted unit, we ended up shooting in Vancouver, and that was amazing. I mean, it was hundreds of people and big sets, and oh my God, it was so much fun. So, anyway, I don't think it matters the size of the set. What matters is, the team effort of pulling it off, and everybody counts. Full stop.
It
So
seems.
so happy about the attention to below the line because everybody counts.
Hmm.
Um, now I'm going to jump in as a teacher about classes. I feel like I'm always in class, but for every professional project or any project I'm on, I always bring in students because I think that that's the more that they can work in internships and really get to be part of this conversation, the better off we are getting them into it later. Plus, their fresh ideas are so great compared to my old ideas, right? Like it's always great to like everything we do is collaboration, and all of this filmmaking is a team sport. But also before we break, I just want to say thank you for these great questions. They're really wonderful. This has been really fun.
Thank you guys so much for being here. This was a very cool way to spend a Saturday morning. I'm actually gonna head to Broadway soon. I have a show today, so you guys are making me like theater. Let's go. I'm on the train. I'm going. Thank you guys so much. But I want to hear more about networking collaboration because, like I said, sometimes you don't know where to start. And I know when I started was backstage and Craigslist, and I know even those things people don't trust anymore. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm already in it. How do you start? Like, I don't know. I have emails. You can always be on my mailing list, networking and stuff, but let's see what else we can have. We have a couple more minutes here to keep going. Anybody
Yeah,
else can jump in?
I can jump in. Yeah, I think classes to your point, a big one. I met Julia Maggiola, my co-producer on this project, through classes. And then beyond that, film festivals, getting involved in your local film festivals, whether you even just, and I also want to talk sort of about price points also because I know classes are expensive, festivals are expensive, but you can reach out to your local festivals and see if they need screeners, if they need volunteers, if they need right? Like, and same with the local theater communities. Finding ways to get involved that don't necessarily cost you money is also, I think, a huge deal.
Absolutely.
So I mean, Julia and I met our director for Method and Madness at a film festival. So I think it really is like building community. In these networking spaces, and networking can be a big, like, scary word, I think, uh, because it can feel like sort of, well, it's difficult, right? Especially in this post-pandemic
I was
world
about to say,
where
since
we're
COVID, now we don't
exactly.
know. So before we used to do it like nothing, but speak to it.
Absolutely, but I think that's it. I think doing things like these, talking to your fellow filmmakers, talking to like-minded creatives, I think that I mean right here we're building connections
True
with
that.
each other.
True that.
Yeah.
I mean, on our side of things to hear, like, no one knows who we are either, right? And to your point, like, from COVID, honestly, we were very Westchester. For this is a deep cut for people who know New York.
Mhm.
If not, this is lost on you. Sorry. Um, we were very Westchester based, and what I realized is that though then during COVID, people were very, very accessible and ready to hang out because they had nothing else to do. So we would get people to do online shows that were like, I'm desperate to do things. But then after that, we pretty much had to rebuild from zero because we tried to start doing shows. Tahira was in our first, actually, live anything in the city, in the same place that we're going to be doing Below the Line. We did a staged reading with masks on, which was so we were really desperate to do something.
It was good though. I mean,
I really
I think we
enjoyed the
needed it at
masks.
that time. We were like coming out of COVID. There was like vaccines a little bit in already. So like
Yes,
going back to work and stuff. So we're like, all right. And from the audience side, from people who were like my audience coming in, like people needed it. Like they wanted like, oh, Tears in a play. When is it coming out? It's like October, you know, like people were like out there. My best friends came, my husband came, and we were in the city, like, you know, because like, let's be the community to get people back. Like, we're gonna be online forever. Like we're
right,
actors, we can't do, you know, like so
right.
being in our community was how we even got here. It was like that's how, oh, you don't want to do stuff, I'll act, I'll be on stage. I got my vaccines, I'm good to go. Like social distancing, but we're good, you know. Like I took,
Yeah,
took a chance, let's say.
we were very ready to be back and doing something. And it turned out that then we were like, oh, we really like this space. We ended up there again. We ended
We
up
sold
there
it out
because
too. Don't forget that part.
a playwright, thank you, the playwright had a connection there. Then we were like, oh, we love this space. So to build off of that, what we're all saying is that like you don't just do something and then let it go and you never hear from that person or that place or that thing again. Um, and to have to rebuild in the city where it's very competitive and like kind of branch our audience because the film festival is not necessarily the same people who used to come and support our live theater. And New York City is not, people are not commuting in to see that, so having to rebuild, but doing it with some amazing people we're meeting every year. Like each season, we're meeting new people. Sometimes we have um, repeat filmmakers coming back to us, definitely coming back to support us in the audience. Um, and weirdly enough, I'm starting to figure out like Aneta, like, of course, I know Theater Revolution. They actually started very early on promoting chill bucket shows and promoting other local community theater shows that we were in. They would, hop around and do interviews with us. And try to it was like groups supporting other groups, which was always really nice. Give back to the community. So it is really nice to now be working with Gabby again in a different capacity. And also weirdly enough, Keaton, you're Julia, I think I know from theater like 6 degrees of separation, like friends,
Oh, wow.
friends in Connecticut or whatever doing theater. So it's like I used to say before this conversation, I agreed. I was saying like, oh, it's such a small world. We all know each other. But I think you guys are right. We're just expanding and knowing more and more
More and
people.
more people, and we're just holding on to
Absolutely.
everyone. So it's like no one gets out. So it's like, but I do want to honor our time and everyone's energy this morning. I want to let you guys go wherever you are. Any final thoughts though? I always like to say that if you guys want to up anything you need to.
Just a huge thank you to Dakota and Tahira. I mean, and I, I mean, you all know this, right? But as indie filmmakers and indie artists and finding community and finding opportunities to even just chat with like-minded individuals is such a huge deal. And not to mention, the sort of like the press and the communication and the organization of a festival. Like it's no small task. And so just so much like such a full heart and so much gratefulness to you both and to those who are putting this together.
Absolutely, you guys earned it. Like you didn't just get up here because it's like you're doing things. You're in the, you know, and I'm looking for. We're building on my media company. It doesn't have anything if I don't put out amazing directors, and that's who the audience is. It's people who are trying to like, okay, people in Hollywood are still looking to, you know. So we're doing our side of the community. Thank you guys so much for being here, though. I do appreciate everything that you guys hear. I do hear it. I try hard to think about the questions and where we are, and not just randomly ask weird stuff. But yeah.
Here, you did a great job. Thank you for the questions and yeah, just gratitude.
Thank you guys so much for sharing so much of your experiences so like openly too. Like sometimes when you're on an interview, you never know if people can share. I've had those where it's like I can't tell you that. So then what are we what are we doing here? So thank you guys for being open. Really, really, really.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's such an
Yeah,
honor to
thank you
be
so
here.
much. This has been a pleasure.
Yes, I know it's happened with some of you.
Appreciate
Kai, I definitely need to know. Me and Annetta are gonna be on it. We need the
Thank you for having me.
hack. Nick, thank you so much. We can't wait to hear, the I Am Duck voice. We didn't hear you talk today, but we're waiting for the movie. And Dakota, of course, thank you for putting this all together. I mean, I'm just here, but this is really your kind of blood and sweat, and everybody's answering our emails and such. So it's a group effort all the time. And I hope you guys who are tuned in, loved our conversation about community, bridging it, and Below the Line Film Festival is happening when again, Dakota?
October 10th through 11th in New York City.
Tickets are on sale now. Make sure you get one. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.